Hey y'all, and welcome to episode 22 of the Unseen Strands podcast, a crochet and fiber arts related podcast where I, your host Bo, am visually impaired and plan on sharing with you strands of the rest of my life. I come to you from central Iowa, where I live with my 4 boys, my husband, our 2 cats, and our dog. And everybody, trick or treat! Yes, since it is our trick-or-treat night tonight, or beggar's night. I do have candy for you all. See? Here's your candy. Come and get it. Sorry. I have my nut-friendly candy in one part of this, and in a plastic container, and then the rest of it beneath it in another container. But yeah, so tonight is our, what we like to call beggar's night, or I guess the area we live in calls beggar's night. It's a long-standing tradition in central Iowa to do trick-or-treat on the night before Halloween, which is tonight, and I will be uploading this on Halloween, so I thought, what better way to celebrate trick-or-treat or Halloween than to have some, I guess, funny jokes in our comments. So if you have a funny joke you'd like to share with us, or you know, a little Halloween pun or something, go ahead and leave them as a comment, and maybe I'll give you a treat. Anyways, so yeah, one of my favorite jokes, so this is just a joke that I try to get the kids to tell, because when they go around for this beggar's night, they're supposed to have a little joke or riddle that they use as their, I guess, trick or, you know, whatever. And I like to have them say, what happened to the man who fell into the lens grinder? He made a spectacle of himself. I know you guys think I'm pretty corny. I got another good one that I'll share with you at the end of the episode. But, so let's hop right in. This is a yarn related podcast. Did I do my intro right? I don't even know. Sorry guys. But for the elephant in the room, I finished with, 2 days left of the month, my pumpkin pasties shawl. Yay! Now this is not exactly correct, and I'll give you a little hint of my modifications in a moment. But like I said, yeah, as written, this kind of gets a little ruffly and isn't exactly crescent. It's more like U or V-shaped. But I still like it. And yes, I'm still wearing my lovely Halloween cowl, because that's what you do, is you wear your black cat for Halloween. But yeah, so just a basic idea. Oops. If we don't drop it, that is. Yeah, this is our nice little shawl, and this was Once Upon a Corgi's yarn. It is in 2 of her different bases. I forget what their names are. They are named after, I think they're puppies that she has had, or at least corgis. And the darker one is the Warm and Cozy, and that is the Polworth base. It's 100% Polworth. And then this lighter colored one is the Corriedale nylon base, and that is Fairy Saddle. Yeah, so I have my Warm and Cozy shawl, and we'll just set that aside because I don't feel like standing up and having you guys stare at my butt. But I did finish that. And let's see. To go along with our, oh, I forgot. So I had another trick-or-treat for you. If you have been around the last couple months, or a couple years, there is a Saturday Night Live special called David Pumpkins. It was the 100 floors of frights or something, and I found these last year when I was getting groceries online, as this was the only pumpkin seeds that our grocery store sells. That, well, at least on the online fulfillment center thing. And I had to get these again for my family because it's David Pumpkins. Nice, long, ongoing joke. And yes, I had to watch the special this year, so the special actually came out last year, but this year was the first year I got to see it. But anyways, moving on to our hoe for the episode. So I have a half-finished object, and, well, this is one sock of two, and this is the My Sweet Socks pattern by Caroline Rodriguez, or the Mind and Muse podcaster. And if you can see, it has cupcakes. I don't remember if I was that far last time. I don't think I was. I think I was right up to the cuff. So yes, we have cupcakes. And I cannot turn my hand right, sorry guys. The pattern said to do 1 or 3 repeats of the cupcakes, and I only did 2 because I thought that was plenty tall enough. And then the first option for a cuff was a knitted cuff, and yes, I braved it. I have done a knitted cuff. Now, my bind off could use a little bit of work. It's not as stretchy as it should be. Like this part especially, this first part doesn't like stretch at all. But when I got later on, my stretchy bind off is a little stretchy. Hopefully our second sock is a little stretchier than that, but I did a knitted cuff. It's got like a mistake here and one over here, because apparently I think what it is when I'm using the magic loop method, and when I do my first stitch for the new row segment or whatever you want to call it, I tend to not get my first loop off right and end up with an extra loop. So a couple times I ended up with, this is a 48 stitch cuff, so you end up with 24 stitches on each side of your magic loop, and sometimes I end up with 25 and have to figure out how to fix it. But yeah, this is in Leading Men Fiber Arts Yarn, which is the podcaster for Dramatic Knits. And this is in the color Meet Me by the Mistletoe. And then, since we have a FO, a hoe, we will have our WIP. If I can pick it up. Where'd you go? Oh, it's in front of me the other way. And actually, I might try and work on this while we're talking. Maybe I'll make this faster and I won't need to. But yeah, so for my, I'm still attached, of course, to my ball for my first one. I just need to pretty much cut yarn and tie it in. But we are to the knit part for our second sock. And yeah, this cuff is going a little better. Well, I'm only on my third row. Am I starting the third? Ending the third. Ending my third row. And I'm guessing here because I lose track on counting rows, and in this weight yarn and me being as inexperienced as I am, no clue. But I've been trying to count, and I thought I was on the first part of round 3, but it looks like I finished a row, so must have been I was on the second part of round 3. And I need 15 rows of the rib stitch, so, and that's a 1x1 rib. And so I still have, what is it, 12 rounds of 1x1 rib and my cast off to finish by tomorrow night. So wish me luck, everybody, because we got this much. Although I think it only took me 2 days to do the other cuff, and I ripped it out several times before I figured out how to do this magic loop method. But so happy that I figured it out, because saved my life to be able to actually knit this in the round, because I was just going to knit it back and forth and then sew it up the side, but didn't need to because I figured it out. So yay, that is going to be my next FO for you, will be my my sweet socks when they're completely finished instead of almost finished. And these do go up higher than my other crocheted socks, although I like to say that if I had done the cuff with this bigger hook, that I would have been able to make a bigger cuff all along. But since I don't have a lot of WIPs because the shawl took most of my time. Oh! I never told you what I did to change it. Okay, so let's rewind back to our FO. Sorry guys, you would think I would be more professional than this. This pattern is, I'd like to recommend it, except for there are some very big errors. One of them was just like a stitch count, and mentioning like to work in the skip 2 instead of skip 1, but it was just like the last stitch, so it didn't really matter. But we got to the end and the last part of the pattern is not written correctly. I feel bad. I'm sorry, Even Gaze. I can't remember your first name. Jody. I'm sorry. But round 22, I believe is what it is not correct. It indicates that you work in chain spaces from the round before, but the round before, at least round 21, does not have any chains. And I think it might be going back 2 rows from, so row 20 where you're working the granny-ish stitch part. It might have been supposed to be working in that because that made a lot more sense. Or round, what, not 20, 19. Because round 20 is the part where you make loops, which is your increases. And I'm not sure if that would have worked because I honestly didn't try because I wanted to get this done and I wasn't going to fiddle with it long enough to figure it out. But yeah, so what I did is I worked row 21 like it should be, except for it's in the wrong color because I ran out of yarn. Or I ran almost out of yarn. I didn't have to play yarn chicken, but I was really close. But so I did round 21 in the wrong color, and then I went back and I just did a reverse single crochet chain 1 to all along the I guess final round edge stitch, and I skipped a stitch between each set. I don't want to give away the secret sauce, so I'm trying to be a little vague, but that's kind of how I finished it off, and it's still a little roughly, but I think some of that will block out if I actually ever block it. Obviously this is not blocked, it is just fresh off the hook as of last night. So yeah, sorry about that little forgetting where I was, good grief. But then, moving back to WIPs, I decided I'd pull this out for you since I haven't shown it to you in a long time, and it has grown, but it's still pretty boring. And I don't know, maybe now that I can knit, I might take this out and restart. This was the Homebody sweater. I forget who that was by, but I decided I was going to work at least this base part in the round instead of back and forth in 2 pieces and then sew it together. So not quite enough to go around yet, but we were definitely getting closer to that. But that is a long time still coming. But yeah, guys, I didn't really have a whole lot to share with you. I'm sorry, my face is kind of itchy because I just took a shower, hence the wet hair. Yeah, my hair is really flat because it's really wet still. It takes a long time to dry. Oh, I got you guys the yarn. This is the yarn that I have for my husband. It is the Cake It's a Lie from Jinx Yarn, which is no longer dyeing. But I need pattern ideas, guys. I said I wanted to work this for a nerd along, or I guess 3 now. So yeah, the one ends next month and then the other 2 start next month. So give me some ideas, guys. I can do, I think, knit or crochet now. I only have this one skein, and this is a DK weight yarn, so it's probably going to be a cowl of some sort. But yeah, I need some ideas, and this is for my husband because he is a huge Portal 2 fan. But yeah, that is that yarn, and I need some ideas, guys. So any suggestions for what to do with my Portal 2 inspired yarn? Something easy, preferably. And you know, I only have this one color, but you know, and I assume, I don't remember exactly, but I assume this is a superwash 100% merino. And this other yarn I have is also a DK. That's a little thinner that my sweater is being made out of. But you know, I can double up any fingering to add to this, so ideas, guys. I would appreciate it. But other than that, I don't have any acquisitions. I don't normally have acquisitions, except for sometime this next month I should be getting in my yarn advent calendar. Sorry, my foot's falling asleep. I should be getting my yarn advent calendar from Pineapple Knits, and although I shouldn't rather open any of that until Christmas season, so we'll see. But, oh, I didn't bring the bells over again, guys. Okay, I can insert sound effects because my editor program has this thing called narrations, and I figured out how to do that. So I may insert some jingle bells here. The Seasons of Giving Cal is going on and going strong, and we already have finished objects, guys. You are amazing. Oh, thank you so much. I just looked earlier today because it's the end of the month, and as we all know, end of the month means end of cows, and end of cows means I have a lot of work that I keep putting off all month that needs to get done. And so I just went and looked earlier today, and yeah, we have finished objects already. I'm so excited, guys. That is absolutely awesome. And oh, my foot is really asleep. Sorry, guys. Oh, it's like, yeah, not happy that I woke it up. Oh. Anyways, so yeah, if you are new to the podcast, and we do have some new people since Krista over at the Secret Yarnery had done her podcaster, or look who's podcasting now. It was something like that. She did a video where you could link yourself, and I did comment under this channel there. So I did get a few new subscribers from there, and as I mentioned in that comment there, this was an audio with slideshow, and you'll still get a little of that because I'm hoping that tonight I get some pictures of the kids in their costume and I put that at the beginning or maybe at the end. But yeah, so I just recently got this new camera. We did this for our 21st episode. We did it with the camera, and I'm doing it again today, although I don't have toques as my backdrop this time. But yeah, so we do have a little bit different than I said. It's not just a audio podcast anymore. There are visuals, and I am sorry. I do know that I make really weird facial expressions, and I do want to apologize for that. The facial expression thing is actually a blind thing, and I didn't realize that until I was in high school. When I was in high school, I was actually a mime. Yes, I know. I'm the silly blind girl mime, which was actually a really big struggle, but I am a fairly good mime, or at least I was back then. I like to say that I won Best Solo Mimist in the state of Iowa in 2003. So, or would it have been 2002? It was the year I graduated, so sometime, I don't remember when the Thespian Festival is, but I won second place in that, and the people in front of me that won first place was a group mime. So I like to call myself the best solo mimist in the state during that Thespian Festival of that year. So yeah, I learned that I am really bad at facial expressions when I got into the miming, because even though I can fake where to look, I didn't realize people use facial expressions until I was in high school. So if you ever wonder why I get really weird looks on my face during this podcast, it's probably because I start drifting off into the land where I forget that I need to be like making facial expressions, and then realize that I'm not making any, and then I have to quickly try and adjust myself and not make it super, super noticeable. So if you ever wonder that is kind of a blind thing, and again, I don't know if that's an every blind person thing, but I know it is for me, because I often get, especially when I'm crocheting or knitting, and why I'm not picking up that sock and working on it at this moment, is I get really mad faces because I am not in your world. I am lost in my head. And yeah, just another fun little blind story for you for this trick-or-treat season. But anyways, guys, I said I would share with you one more little Halloween joke before we left, and do please share any of your little Halloween jokes, riddles, or just any joke or riddle down in the comments below. But one more little joke to close us out for this episode is, why did the skeleton not go to the party? Because he had nobody to go with. Anyways, guys, that's going to do us for today. As usual, to find me on social media, you can follow either Hooked on Mo's or Mo's Crochet on most platforms. I do have them down listed in the description on where I am where, and I also have the unseenstrands@gmail.com email address now. So if you need to get a hold of me, that is another option, although honestly, best way to get a hold of me is over on Ravelry under Mo's Crochet. Anyways, guys, again, that will do us for this episode of the Unseen Strands podcast. And if you liked this episode, I hope you hook the like button and subscribe. Talk to you later, guys.
Wow. Can you say trick or treat?
You are little. There you go.
Can you say trick or treat?
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you say thank you?
I like your costume. Spider-Man. Look